Okay, so far in this tutorial series, we've created our product display and we've created our cart. Now, obviously, it's nowhere near finished yet. What we've got to do is we've got to add our minus and plus buttons and delete button. Now, the minus button is going to remove one of the quantities. So if the minus button did exist here right now, I could press it, and T would go to one quantity. If I was to press the minus button on the book, this would go to 0, therefore it would remove this completely from my cart. The plus would obviously increase, so this would go to 3, and the same with this going to 2. Then we're going to have a delete button, which is going to completely remove this one, or this one, depending on where it's pressed. So we can carry on with this inside here. We're just going to be basically adding on to this echo here. So let's remove the break. We're going to create another link, and that's going to be minus, and again after that we're going to create another link, and that's going to be plus, and then after that we're going to create another link, and that's going to be delete. Okay, and then a break after that. So that's the last thing we need on that line. Let's refresh. So you can see we've got a minus, a plus, and a delete. Now these don't do anything yet, but what they're going to do is they're going to do exactly what I've explained. So how are we going to link them, and what we're going to link them to? We're going to link them to cart.php, obviously. These are going to be displayed on the index page, so we're linking back to the cart. We're going to use if statements to check, what's been added. So remove equals, and then we need the item ID. So the ID of the item is ID. It just says it basically there. So let's go along and we'll do ID. Again with the plus, we're going to say cart.php add equals, and that's going to be ID. And the same with the delete, we're going to say cart.php delete equals ID. So let's test this out. Okay, so I'm going to click delete. Cart.php delete equals 2. So 2 is our ID of the T, and if I delete that one, that's the ID of 1. Up here we can see it. So that's absolutely fine. The same with remove, so remove equals 2, and remove equals 1. So this is going to remove and add or delete the whole thing, or add one quantity or remove one quantity. Now as far as the add goes, this is exactly the same as this button. So T equals 2, press that, go back, T equals 3. Now obviously at the moment we're going to cart.php, but we're having to click back in our browser to come back to this page. Now what we want to do is earlier, in the first part of the tutorial, I created this page equals index.php variable. The reason I did this is because let's say after we add, so we've added blah blah blah, just after this I might want to say header location page. Now what that's going to do is that's going to take me back to the index page after I have added the product. The same with everything else we're going to create in a moment. But so I've updated the add if statement and blah 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 inside of it. So let's refresh. Now if I want to set T to 4 and I click the plus button, oh hold on, let's just okay, so header location equals to the page. Okay, so let's go to cart.php. Okay, so add okay, add equals 2. Okay, the quantity of 3, so I've hit my maximum quantity. So again, my mistake, and that's why it's not referring us back. Now I've actually placed this header in the wrong place then. So if I get rid of this and I put that down there, that's more appropriate. That's the place we need to place it. The reason why is if for example we have hit the maximum quantity, we still want to locate back to the index.php file, or it's going to not do anything. So T times 3, I'm going to add another one. Right, that's just gone to the cart.php and then forwarded us straight back. Now I'm going to show it to you with the book where we haven't hit our maximum quantity. I'm going to press that, and you see that's gone to 2, and we press it again, that's gone to 3. we press it again, that's gone to 4, and we're adding up our numbers as we go. You can see it adding up as we go. Now what I want to do is create the remove function, which is going to remove, not the remove function, the remove if statement, which is going to check for this and remove a quantity. So this is quite simple. We just say if is set $_get remove, and remember that we're doing this basically because when we do click the minus button, it takes us to cart.php and the variable name is remove, and that equals 1 at the moment because that's the item I've clicked on. So this is extremely simple. All we really need to do is we need to say $_session cart underscore and then $_get remove. So remember, we need to concatenate that on and add that int in there to make sure it's an integer value. And then we need to say basically at the end of it minus minus. This is short of saying equals something minus something, and then we need to say header location and then concatenate on that page as we did up here. So let's test that. Let's minus 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 minus. Now we're down to 1 at the moment, so book times 1 equals 399. 399 equals 399. If I was to remove this once more, we've removed the session entirely because the value is going to be set to 0. So if I click that, that goes. And for some reason we've got this your cart is empty message come up. So let's just double check that. Let's go down. So if value is greater than, okay, so let's get rid of this else here. That perhaps wasn't needed. We'll add that in later if needed. So let's come and refresh. Okay, so now let's add a book again. Okay, now if I was to add some tea, that this quantity will go up to, well, nothing at the moment because we've hit a maximum. Let's get this down to 1. We can use this button to add, this button to take away, and this button to add as well. And now we just need to create the delete one basically, which is going to delete the item completely. So I'm going to add these two in, set the quantity up a bit, set that to say 6. Now the delete is going to be more or less exactly the same. Let's go up. So up to here. Yeah. Okay. So if is set $_get remove. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing. We want to say $_session. We're basically copying the code just here. Cart underscore, and then we're doing $_get delete. This is supposed to be delete, obviously. And again, we're saying int in front of that, which was we're passing an integer. And then basically all we want to do is say that equals 0. Okay, and then we say header location and concatenate on that page. So we're setting the cart and the ID that we've specified to 0, so it'll automatically be removed from this list. So let's say click on delete the T, delete the book, we're done. We can re-add these, increase their quantities as we can before, but we can also delete them. So at the moment we have a more or less functioning cart. The only thing we need to do is we need to add our PayPal checkout button, and we also need to clear a few things up. One of the things I can see at the moment we need to clear up is we just need to add a pound sign in front of here. So let's go and do that now quickly. That will go here, so and pound, refresh, and we've got a pound sign in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is add a little bit of functionality in that's going to tell us we've got no items in our cart. So at the moment we've got nothing up here, but we want something that's a bit more user friendly. If we come back to our cart function, underneath this for each thing here, in fact first of all underneath here we want to keep a running total. of everything in our basket, basically. So for now, total plus equals sub, and remember sub is the subtotal of our items. So essentially what we're doing is when we add our items to our cart, we're adding this, depending on the quantity, and this together, and then we're producing our complete quantity. So total plus equals sub. So what we could do is come down here and echo total. Okay, we'll just see how that looks for now. 1049. So yeah, that's right, that's correct. 650 add 399, we've got 1049. So now what we want to do is put a little if statement in just to check if the quantity equals 0. So if if the total equals 0. So if total equals 0, we're going to say to the user, your cart is empty. Okay, empty, spell it right. And then else, we're going to show here, here we're going to show our PayPal checkout button. So just for now, I'm going to echo PayPal checkout button. Okay, so let's come and refresh. Okay, so PayPal checkout button, along with the total as well, but we'll sort that out in a minute. So PayPal checkout button. If there's nothing in the cart, your cart is empty. So this is pretty much working. Add, and we've got our PayPal checkout button back. But obviously in here we need to echo some user-friendly way to say the total. So total, I'm going to say total, and I'm going to say and pound. So I'm using pounds, and I'm going to concatenate on the total. But obviously I'm going to use number format and to 2 decimal places. Okay, so let's just refresh. Okay, so total equals 1049. So that's clearly displayed to us. And then after this, around here, we want to have our PayPal checkout button, and that will be in the next part of this tutorial.